Hi, Linda Bowen here from stampingwithlinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Back in October, I did my stamp retreat, and I shared with you this shadow box card that we did at the retreat. And so I promised you that I would do a video on it, so since today is Creative Fold, I thought I would share it. I'm not going to do the card, I'm just going to show you the cutting and scoring. So I'm starting with a piece of 7 inches by 5 1/4. Excuse me, 7 inches by 10 1/4 cardstock, and I am going to score it at the 5 inches and the 5 1/4. I'm only going to burnish the 5-inch side because that is the side we are going to be using to create our shadow box. You will see that there's like that 1/4 inch gap there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the short sides first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in a 1/2 inch, and I am going to score from a 1/2 inch down to 4 1/2. So I'm going to bring my scoring blade up, starting at the 1/2, and going to go down to the 4 1/2. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over to the 3/4, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the 1/2 and go down to the 4 1/2. Now it is hard with the glaring light here to actually see, but there we've got that. I'm going to be now working on the opposite side, so I'm going to bring it, let's go ahead and just flip it over and bring it up here. My score lines will be indented on one side and not the other, but that's okay. So again, I went into the 1/2, starting at the 1/2, and I'm going to go down to the 4 1/2. I'm going to move into 3/4, do the same thing, 1/2 inch to 4 1/2. Now I'm going to be working on the long side. Excuse me. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move in at a 1/2. This time I'm going to start at the 1/2, and I'm going to go down to the 6 1/2. So all the way down, and again, I am just going to kind of eyeball that to the 6 1/2. Going to move it over to the 3/4. Going to start at the 1/2 and go down to the 6 1/2. Now I'm going to have to do it on this side, but I have that score line. So I'm going to just be careful and not score real deep because I don't want it to score on the back side. But I need to score in here the same way, lining it up at the 1/2, starting at the 1/2 and going to the 6 1/2, and then moving it in to the 3/4. Same thing. I'm going to start at the 1/2 and go to the 6 1/2. Now what I need to do is I need to cut out, now I don't know how well you can see in the video, but I'm going to make an X across here by cutting. I'm not going to go clear up into my corners, so I'm just going to line it up, because if your cut lines are not exactly perfect, you can adjust them with your scissors. You just don't want to go too far, because that will make your frame off. So just kind of eyeballing, lining them up here and here. I'll pull in just a little bit. And you'll see that I didn't go all the way to the corner. So now I'm just going to go in with my scissors and I'm going to snip that. This one was really off, but again, not a problem. I can snip it at an angle. If I would have cut all the way, then my frame wouldn't have worked back and forth. So I've got those, and I will need to cut right down into that point. I think I've pretty much got that. Very good. Now what I want to do is I want to move the score lines back and forth. Best to bring in your bone folder. Really burnish them. on all 4 sides. I think I didn't do that one very well. Okay, so I've got that. So this is going to, now I can go ahead and score it to the 4 1/4, or excuse me, 5 1/4. And so now I have my shadow box. And it's lining up square. That's all nice and good. So now I want to cover where I have done that scoring and cutting. And I have a piece of basic black cardstock. I don't have the measurements right here, but you can head over to my blog, stampingwithlynda.com, and I will post those measurements. Because then what I want to do is I want to just cover this up on the back side like so. And then I have my shadow box in here, and this vanilla piece will go right in here, and that's what I stamped on. So again, I did apologize I don't have those measurements of that piece of cardstock right here, but I will have it on my blog, stampingwithlynda.com. Just look under shadow box card in my search engine, and it'll take you right to the post. I'm going to bring in that finished card again, and you can see the shadow box, and then on the back side is that covering, so it covers where you have cut and scored. Hope you've enjoyed today's Creative Fold, and you join me again real soon. Bye-bye.